I should be like you, Mel.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
Well, good morning. It's Saturday. It's 8 a.m. That can only mean one thing, and it's on the sidelines with me, Matt, in the UK, and of course my co-host Paul in Oz. Paul, how are you doing?
Very hot, very humid. Bit of a hot day, Matty. Yeah, hot day, mate. Yeah.
Hot day. Well, yeah, same old for us here at the minute. But at least there's a bit of sun out at the moment. But there's quite a bit of cloud, so hopefully the rain stays off for the football, so at least I can get to the football in the dry rather than getting wet. But great to see everybody as always. There's quite a bit of people's interaction in the chat at the minute. We will come to that very shortly, but let's launch our new game that we're going to be playing each week. Of course, that is Spot the Ball. Now, Spot the Ball here. It's been on the Facebook page a little while this week. So basically, you do have a choice of A, B, C, or D on where the ball is. Just pop it in the comments to play along, and we will reveal all at the end of the show. But we'll leave this on the screen for just a little while we go through the comments, and then we'll get cracking with the show because we've got quite a bit to have a little chat about this morning. So, Paul, any ideas? You can have a little guess.
Well, whenever I used to do it, I'd always get it wrong. It was always in the place I didn't think it would. But if I want to guess, I'm going to say D.
D.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Paul's guess is D. So, guys, pop your guesses in the comments. We'll leave this on the screen for just a little while. We'll come across to the comments now, shall we, Paul? Shall we have a see what everybody's saying? Hope everybody's well. Okay. Here we go. So, as always, no surprises here. But Mr. Chris Hubble, morning to you, my friend. There's what's going on here? Let's just do this a minute so it sort of blends in a bit better. That's my fault for a bit of a preparation there. So, where are we? There we go. As always, Malcolm's in. Good morning, Matt, Paul, and Cherries fans. Hope you're well, Mal. Is it still cold out there? It was cold last week, if I remember rightly, wasn't it? Dave DaCosta, morning, Matt, evening, Paul, 31 degrees. What's your temperature there, Paul?
We've had 33 today. It's still about 27, but it's just so humid.
Yeah.
It's like being in the Amazon jungle, mate, over here. It's pretty warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everywhere.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Dave, as always. We'll touch on your side a little bit later, which is the 12:30 kickoff today. Chris saying morning to Mal. Of course, it wouldn't be on the sidelines without the Watkins gang. They're all in. hope everybody's well. Malcolm saying morning to Chris. And nice little conversation there between Chris and Malcolm. Dan Shaw, I haven't seen you off for a while. Hope you're well, Dan. Miss Cherry AM every day. Yes. Yeah, I think I'm not too sure what's happening there. Unfortunately, myself and Paul are unavailable to do the Friday slot now. Hence, we've created the On the Sideline show. So, I'm sure something with that will happen again very soon. So, stay tuned to that. Dan's guess is A. Interesting one. Okay. David's gone with D. Nick, it's Spot the Pool.
Spot the Pool. Yeah, I'm wearing number 15 there, Nick.
Chris has gone with B. Malcolm's gone with B. Vanessa has gone with D.
Johnny. Hi, there's John.
So John's in. It's great to see you again, John. Good day, Matt and Paul. And the Wombats as well. Yes, we love the Wombats, don't we?
The Wombats of Bundernoon, yeah. Great.
We love that. Go Cherries, absolutely. We will be touching on the Cherries game very shortly. Paul will give us his views and opinions on that very shortly. Yippee, +1 today and very foggy. Okay, well, at least you're in the pluses, Mal. I suppose that's the bonus. Answer to why Spurs or equals Spurs forever. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Spot the Ball. We'll reveal all at the very end of the show. But there it is for one quick last look. A, B, or C, or D. Guess where the ball is. So, time now to obviously go on to some Bournemouth related news. There's been an interesting article this week in The Sun. AFC Billion. There's been an article with Jeff Mostyn, the ex AFC Bournemouth chairman. So basically, the man who saved Bournemouth from extinction with a nod of his head and £100,000 cheque cannot believe they have done nearly £1 billion worth of transfer business. They went on to say that Cherry saviour Jeff Mostyn's jaw hit the floor when Sunsport told him that their last 50 major transfers in and out had totaled close to 10 figures. The former chairman said it's unbelievable and that he couldn't believe it. Paul, that's, unreal, isn't it? That, to think that we've nearly done £1 billion worth of in and out transfers in the years that, we've been in the Premier League now. You go back and, we used to have to raise money to buy players. I remember PlayerShare having to raise money to purchase Eddie Howe back for, I think it was £20,000 or something like that, And, this is unreal.
No, sorry, Maddie. Go on.
No, sorry, no, over to you. It's just unreal.
I was going to say one of mine, and I'll make it very brief. One of my memories is going back to the mid-70s when we were really out and down. Used to go to a Tuesday night match, and I swear to you, they wouldn't put the floodlights on until about 7:20. And there was a reason for that. That was to save power. That's just unbelievable, isn't it? That's the truth. Used to go in and it would sort of be in semi-darkness, and then the players would come out to warm up 7:20. They put the lights on. Yeah, true story. Yeah, remember it. Yeah.
Wow.
Just save money on the electricity. Yeah.
Yeah. But you think of those players that come in and out in that sort of six figures, it's 10 figures, isn't it? The Dom Solanke deal, for example, making the money we made on him and, Dino and other players and that. Even when you think of all that vast money, when you think of £1 billion, it's just just unbelievable, wasn't it? Of in and out transfers. But yeah, I just thought that was an interesting one that I saw in the Sun this week.
Yeah.
And of course, with it being Jeff as well on the channel, there is the interview that myself and Craig conducted with Jeff, which is on the channel and on our Spotify and all our Acast and all our other platforms. So yeah, do check that out as well if you haven't seen it already. We do talk about his book if you haven't got it. The Chairman, do get it. I've got a copy of it. I luckily enough got a signed copy from Jeff when I met him. So yeah, it's a great read. It's a great read for any football fan, to be honest. It's not just a Bournemouth fan book. You can any fan of it, anybody who loves football can read it, and anybody who loves football can watch this interview as well, because it's really a great story. So yeah, do tune into that if you haven't already. But yes, Paul, we got well, you may see that I've got my Charlie Daniels and Dan Gosling shirt here behind me. And that's for a very, very good reason, which we'll touch on in a second. But let's just quickly jump into the comments, because we've got some comments coming in. Nick's World of Football podcast. So it's Nick from Oz again. And I thought we'd never top that 1 million sale of Brett Pittman to Bristol City. Yeah, I forgot he went from 1 million to Bristol City. Yeah, God, I remember that well. Great striker, though, Brett, in his day, wasn't he? And yeah. Shame he didn't play in the Premier League, because then he would have played in all 4 divisions for Bournemouth.
He could have done it.
I think he did. Yeah, definitely have done it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, wasn't to be. But yeah, he made that big move to Bristol City then, and we thought, wow, that was amazing. I think I remember when we signed, I think it was Matt Tubbs for like 525 grand. It was like, wow, never thought we'd ever sign anyone of that kind of money, and now look what we're doing. So yeah, that's a great point there, Nick. Thanks for reminding me of that one. Someone new who I haven't seen before, but welcome to the show, welcome to the channel. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. Premier League Dad, morning lads, first time watching, great work, good to see the Cherries getting back on track, even if one of the results came against my team. How are you feeling about Villa this weekend? Well, we will touch on that very, very shortly, so do stay tuned. We do also have another show called the Dean Court Social, which is out now, where I give my views on the game, and Paul will give his views on the game very, very shortly. So, but it's great to see you, Premier League Dad. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, please give us a sub, and yeah, be great. David, good morning all. Looking forward to the show. Just joined. Have I missed the weather forecast? Yes, you have, unfortunately. But just to let you know, it's very hot in Australia.
Correct.
So a bit of news about our former Cherries this week. Dan Gosling and Charlie Daniels. So former Cherries ace Charlie Daniels had his first taste of first team management as Watford's interim manager. He led the side to a 0-0 draw against Hull City. And he also, like I say, he has Dan Gosling as part of his interim setup. And when asked if he expects to be in charge for today's game against Southampton, Daniel said, unless I'm told otherwise, yeah, that's the plan. So it looks like he's getting some vital experience of being a manager, a first team manager anyway. Obviously, he's part of the under-21 setup at Watford, and I think Dan Gosling is a phase coach for one of the age groups. But do you think he's chucking his hat in the ring here for maybe trying to get the permanent job at Watford, Paul? Because it's a bit of a funny job, isn't it, the Watford manager? They tend to come and go pretty quick, don't they?
They sure do, Matt. I think, look, he's got the opportunity. If he can get the results together and put them on a bit of a run, then why not? It's a results game, isn't it? In the end, it's all about points and results, and why not? Why not? Especially with David Gosling, the experience of those two players together will stand him in good stead. Obviously Watford will have something up their sleeve, I'd imagine. Thinking long term, but if they do the job, then why not? It'd be interesting to keep an eye on them, wouldn't it? How they go.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the experience they've got in the Championship anyway, from playing in it, from winning it.
Mm.
Um, they're going to have that vast experience of that division. The only thing that worries me is obviously how they change managers so quick. It'd be nice to
Oh,
see, Charlie get a real go at it. But yeah, I mean, what a step up for him, and to get a 0-0 draw in your first game, is a good result. So, hopefully they can do the business today, and see where it goes. Like you say, it's a results game, isn't it? So if he keeps a good run of results up, why not give him a go at the job on a
yeah,
permanent basis?
yeah,
You never know. It might turn out to be one of those where he gets the job until the end of the season to see how it
yeah,
goes, and then go from there in the summer maybe. But
yeah.
it's going to be a great experience for him, and Dan. And yeah, who knows? This could be the new Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall. Who knows? It could.
Yeah. We've got managers everywhere, haven't we?
Yes, no, we certainly have.
Unbelievable.
We
Yeah.
certainly have. But obviously, two legends there. That's obviously
Mm.
from the famous 2014-15 squad, which got promoted from the Championship. They're now both in the dugout at Watford. So we'll keep an eye on that, see how that develops. And good luck to Charlie and Dan. Obviously, Charlie's been on the channel. He's done an interview with myself and Craig. And he also did the season's preview for this season with Craig earlier on in the season. So, yeah, we've had Charlie on a few times, and yeah, he's a great guy. So yeah, all the best to him and Dan. Another little bit of Cherries related news then, before we take a look at the Premier League fixtures for this weekend. And that involves someone in the current squad, who's been speaking to the club website, about his confidence growing. And I think, we have seen that in the last sort of run of games. Now he's managing to start, and he's had a good run of games. You can see that his confidence has started to grow. And that is, of course, Adley. And he's had a little chat with the AFCB website. And he said on there, this. To be honest, it was not an easy situation when I started. And I think, Paul, we all saw that when he started. He was kind of, settling in. I would say that's pretty fair, isn't it?
Yeah.
And of course, he wasn't playing so many games, which he says here. Of course, I wanted to play more, but after every training session, every minute I had, I wanted to show the staff that I'm capable of what I'm capable of, which I think we're starting to see that now. And he goes on to say that you need to respect decisions, and it's only up to you to do everything you can to change the situation. It was tough, but you just have to give your all to make things happen. And I think this part here is key, where players left and players were injured, as we know now at the moment. We're suffering quite a few injuries, and it was up to me to show what I can do. I think I've done quite well in this little run of games I'm in. Now I'm happy to have a lot of playing time. My sensations are better, and I'm just looking to have the best performance every weekend. We started the season very well with good rhythm. Then we had a very difficult moment about winning. Now we're back in good shape. Everything can go both ways very quickly, so you have to stay focused. Paul, it's an interesting one, because, I mean, he's very right there. Obviously, we've gone through that sticky patch, haven't we? Sort of, just before and just after Christmas. But it looks like his confidence is growing with the team's confidence in recent weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he had a slow start, as we know. I mean, you can't displace Antoine Semenyo.
Yeah.
He was playing in his spot. He's never going to get a run with Semenyo there. But he's come in and gradually he's improved. Obviously, we know he scored the last-minute winner against Liverpool. I mean, without that kick, we would have drawn, wouldn't we? So you can't ask much more of the bloke. But yeah, look, there's been some improvement. But again, now we have Antoine Semenyo's replacement arrived in town. There's a lot of and David Brooks possibly back. So there's a lot of competition. If he's going to do it, he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to perform. And maybe that's what he needs, competition there. Personally, I don't think he'll start, Matt. That's my opinion. I don't think he'll start on Saturday. I don't think so.
Interesting.
No, I don't think so. But we'll see.
We'll see.
He's line in there. I respect the decisions. and it is a decision. I mean, and Ernie's always said he doesn't necessarily start the best team, so he'll probably make me look silly and start him. But I would be surprised if he got 90 minutes. Let's put it that way.
Interesting. We'll get more thoughts of your
Sure. Yeah.
predictions for the game later on today. And don't forget the Dean Court Social is out on the channel.
I watched it.
Craig say. Yeah, it's been out since yesterday, I believe, if I remember rightly. So yeah, do jump onto there for some more pre-match reaction. And of course, we've got Cherry Slaps on Monday evening for the reaction with Ollie and Malcolm. So yeah, do stay tuned to the channel. Lots coming up. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please do. Let's just jump back into the comments very quickly. I met a man this week and he came to the table with a proper Bournemouth Cherries coffee cup. Very cool. I asked if he knew Paul and he said he did.
I have no idea, but I like the spelling of Bournemouth there.
I asked if he knew Paul, and indeed he did. That's 6 Cherries fans here, and that's not counting the loyal Wombats here back in the back Bournemouth. Excellent. So I wonder who that was then, Paul, that knows you.
I'm not sure. I know there's a few people out there that support Bournemouth. I've often thought about putting a Bournemouth scarf up, but I don't think so because there's a lot of Wolves supporters that live in that town as well, and not good. So I'll find out, Matt, and let you know. Yeah, good on you, John.
Perfect. Yeah, it's great to hear that as well. Thank you for that, John. Right, let's move on to the Premier League then. So we've had a game already, haven't we, Paul? Which was last night. Friday night football. Leeds United played Nottingham Forest with Leeds coming out 3-1 winners. I know, Malcolm, if you're still in the chat, I know you watched the game, mate. Drop in your thoughts in the comments. I unfortunately didn't see it. I was busy doing other things, and Malcolm actually texted me about the game. This is going to... I think, Paul, I don't know your thoughts on this, but when you look at the table now, it does appear that this could be a real fight between possibly West Ham and Forest for that last relegation spot, because it looks like Burnley and Wolves, are down. They're going to be down, it looks like, unless there's a miracle. Points are still there to be won, so it's it's anyone's game at the minute, but it's not looking likely. That's going to be some battle by two, with two big clubs down at the bottom there.
That's sure right. You're dead right, Matt. I mean, I watched the second half, and what I thought, I did, and I watched it live the second half, and Leeds played really well. They were passing the ball around really good. I mean, Forest had a bit of a comeback there at the end with a late goal, but it was never in doubt. You could see that Leeds, and this again is what you call a 6-pointer. So they had to win because I believe, without remembering the exact teams, I think Leeds' next 3 games are against 3 teams from the top 6. So this was one they definitely had to win, and they did it. They did the job. But it's okay to watch. It was good football. Yeah. But you're dead right. I mean, but in the Premier League, I mean, a couple of wins and a couple of losses, it changes the whole thing, doesn't it? If Forest go on a run now, who knows? Or West Ham. I mean, I've tipped West Ham to win this week. I think they'll beat Burnley away.
Yes.
I think they'll win.
Yeah, that's a massive game, isn't it? I mean, Burnley, West Ham. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have a look at the rest of the fixtures very, very shortly. But yeah, that's a big fixture today. And when you look at the bottom of the table, West Ham sit 18th on 20 points. Forest 26 points. So you can see how massive that win for Leeds was last night, because that's moved to 29 points. And they sit on 29 points with Mr. Da Costa's Spurs and Crystal Palace. So it's very, very tight down there. We're 13 points away from it. So, us and Newcastle. So you'd think hopefully a couple of more wins on our, under our belt will, really pull us away from that. But yeah, I don't think obviously there's any worry for us. But yeah, for those big clubs down at the bottom there,
it feels good to be in the 30+ points, doesn't it?
yeah,
It feels good at this stage of the season. I wouldn't want to be in the 20-something points because it's going to be a close thing.
Yeah, absolutely. When you get over that sort of 34, 36 mark, you're fine. And hopefully today, our points tally will go up. So, but we'll discuss that very shortly. Let's just quickly jump to the comments, Paul.
Yep.
Nick's telling us that they do have an official supporters group there.
Yeah.
Which I think you've mentioned before, actually. Now Nick's mentioned that. That's reminded me. And there's another one as well.
Right.
Is that Coffs Harbour?
Yeah, that's up Central Coast, up that way. Beautiful spot. I used to go up there every year on holiday. Fabulous place. Yeah,
Wow.
Thanks, Nick. You're very, very knowledgeable, Nick, and
Yes.
he's got a great station zone own there, Nick's World of Football.
Yes.
He does some good stuff on there.
He does some excellent stuff on there. And yeah, guys, if you're watching, do jump over to Nick's World of Football as well, because there's some great Cherries content and content, all sorts of different content over there. And it's a really, really good podcast. So do jump onto that and give Nick a like, a subscribe, hit his notification bell, because he has some really good interviews that come out. So yeah, definitely worth watching. So yeah, do check Nick's channel out. Malcolm, Leeds.
Pasted.
Yeah. Malcolm was saying last night that Leeds looked very good for the win.
They did.
Keep your eye on West Ham. I think they are the ones who might just escape at Forest's expense. What do you reckon to that?
If I could predict it, I'd put some money on at the bookies, Matt. But it's just such a funny game. I think tomorrow will tell us a tale. If West Ham go up and beat Burnley, then it's on, isn't it? It's on for one and all. But we'll just have to see the results this weekend, which is what we're going to talk about shortly. Could go anyway.
I've always, kind of had a soft spot for West Ham. Obviously when Harry was there, he used to help us out with players and that loan players. So, you look back over the years and the connection between Bournemouth and West Ham. I do hope West Ham, do stay up, but it's a case of, who's going to get enough points on the board, isn't it?
We go right to the wire again. See.
Yeah, absolutely. With Spot the Ball, David is going A. Interesting. Well, all will be revealed at the very end of the show, guys, so do stay tuned. And we will tell you exactly where the ball is on Spot the Ball. Malcolm, the remaining fixtures are very interesting for both clubs. Yet between now and the end of the season, they are very interesting. We're going to look at this weekend's now, though. But yeah, between now and the end of the season for both Forest and West Ham, there's some really interesting fixtures. Paul, let's start on today's fixtures then. And there's some interesting ones here. Manchester United face Spurs at 12:30. Now with Manchester United, I don't know if anybody's seen that's watching, but there's a guy who hasn't cut his hair in such a long time, and he's got a massive head of hair now. Poor guy needs a haircut, but he won't have his haircut until Manchester United win 5 games in a row. Now they're on 3, so if they beat Spurs today, he's only one win away from a haircut. If you haven't seen it, he's on TikTok and things like that. I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's had this bet going for ages, and honestly, he's recorded it each week and how big his hair's got, and yeah, he's not going to have his haircut until Man United win 5 games in a row. Today could be their 4th. Now, David DaCosta's saying that he fancies Spurs to nick a win. Paul, what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, you know what, Dave? As much as I love you, mate, I'm going to have to go the other way. I think Man United is the form team, and I think they're going to win. I think United are going to do it with Carrick. I think he's got a real point to prove. They're at home. We'll see. Sorry, Dave, but you'll never talk to me again now, mate. I'll have to go against that. But just my gut feeling, I think United will win.
I honestly think if Carrick hadn't come in and changed the side I mean, they're playing. He's actually using the players to their strengths now. And he's playing in a formation and in a style that suits the players he's got, which obviously Amrin refused to do. And I think, he's gone in there. The players are obviously more happy playing the football that suits them, which I think that alone has boosted them massively. And I have to agree with you, Paul. I think United are going to win this one.
They're on form.
I think, and at Old Trafford today, I've actually got a couple of friends who've gone up to the game actually today. I think they're going to be a bit too strong for Spurs. I think, it's going to be a United win. I think I'm going to go with a 3-1 scoreline on that one because I think Spurs will score, but United will definitely win the game. So I'm going to go with 3-1 on that one.
Yep.
Sorry, Dave. But 3-1 to United. There's a little game at the Vitality between Bournemouth and Villa, but we'll touch on that in more detail shortly. This is an interesting one. Arsenal-Sunderland. Now, do you know what, Paul? Sunderland's home form has been their bread and butter this season. That's what's really, put them in this strong position. I got a funny feeling they could cause an upset here today. I think they could nick something at the Emirates.
All right, you were right last week, weren't you? With Arsenal.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're beaten, but I think they could nick a draw there.
Right, well, possible. I've got to go for an Arsenal win, Matt. I think they've had their slip up, but with different opinions, it's great to have different views.
Yeah,
different opinions. It's lovely.
Yeah.
I would go with Arsenal at home. I think they'll do it. I think they'll beat Sunderland.
Yeah. Okay.
We discussed the Burnley game. I think for me, West Ham. I think they'll win. I do. I think they'll win.
Yeah, I think West Ham will come out on top of that one. Like you say, Nuno's got them playing with a bit of confidence now. So, they've made some signings in the window. They've still kept hold of Callum Wilson, and what Callum Wilson can do if he's given the opportunity. I think unfortunately for Burnley, that's going to definitely be a West Ham win. There. Fulham Everton, what's your thoughts on that one?
I think it's got draw written all over it. And do you know what? I actually hope Everton win because Bournemouth are going to Everton on Tuesday night, and I want them to be full of confidence and aren't we wonderful? So I hope they actually win because I'm going too far forward, but I think Bournemouth will go to Everton and win. I think we'll beat them Tuesday night, Everton. So I'm hoping Everton win. I'm going for a draw, but hope Everton win. And they can all be very happy and walk onto the field, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Obviously, we do play Everton on Tuesday night, as Paul's just said. So some quick games coming around for us. But I kind of agree with you on the draw aspects of this one. It wouldn't be surprising. Wolves, Chelsea. Now, for me, this one, I think Chelsea win.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
that's a definite. And Newcastle, Brentford at 5:30. Now, there's been a bit of pressure on. Well, I say a bit of pressure, but I think the fan base are pretty split at Newcastle on Eddie at the minute. I know we've had on the channel we've had the mighty win from the Newcastle fan channel come on to a couple of cherry slaps and Dean Court socials and things. And I think he said recently as well that the fan base is split up there. Is the pressure on Eddie, do you reckon? I mean, they went out in the cup. Yes, it was Man City, but being 3-0 down in the first sort of 33 minutes is never a good sign. I mean, what's your thoughts, Paul?
Well, they're around about the same position as us in the Premier League, aren't they? They're not in European spots. I think they're one place above Bournemouth. I don't think there's any pressure on Eddie. I can't see him. He's not going to get the sack. They might be divided, but I think a lot of guys up there love Eddie. I think Newcastle. I think it'll be close. I think Newcastle will win. No doubt Dango will score. Dango will score again. But I think Newcastle will do that one, mate.
Yeah, interesting one because Brentford got a very, very good win at today's opponents, Villa, last week against 10 men. I think they had 10 men. I think Brentford, if I remember rightly, and they managed to nick a 1-0 win at Villa Park. Brentford. I put my hands up. I thought Brentford were going to struggle this season, but fair play to their appointment in Keith Andrews, who's done a fantastic job there. Do you know what? I'm finding this one difficult to predict. I really am. Do you know what? I'm going to go with a draw here.
Right.
I think it's a day of draws for me.
Man, that's good. Well, last week when we did the predictions, I checked it. We got one wrong. The only one we got wrong was Aston Villa. I think we got everything else right. So who knows? Yeah.
We did. Before we look at Sundays, let's just quickly bring up a couple of the comments in the chat. He has got an appointment at the Barbers for next week, so obviously he must be feeling confident then that they're going to get the next two wins in a row. Chris has seen him. Chris knows who I mean. I forget the guy's name, he's and I think even David's agreed that he's getting a haircut. Murray, hope you're well.
Hi.
Thanks, Matt and Paul. Thank you, Murray, for joining us. Great to have you with us. And Nick is saying Brentford to draw as well. Yeah, I wouldn't rule that one out. I think that's going to be a tough game for Newcastle today. Right. Let's take a look at Sundays then. Only 2 fixtures on Sunday. Brighton versus Palace. Now that's always a historical fixture, that one, Brighton versus Palace, at 2 p.m. And then we've got a big one at 4:30. That's Liverpool versus Manchester City. Right. Paul, how do you see these two going?
Okay, Brighton for me. I think Crystal Palace are in a bit of disarray at the moment. And I think City will get an away win. Close game. I think City will win that at Liverpool. That's what I'm thinking.
I wouldn't disagree. I think Man City, they've made some good signings, as we know. We know one of them very well. Yep. They've made some good signings in the window. I think they got a little bit of confidence in them at the minute. So I think, they're going to Anfield. I think they'll win that. I think they'll win that.
So do I.
Yeah. So I think they might actually win that. I'm going to go with 2-0, on that one. Let's see. Brighton Palace. Both sides would be up for this one. But Brighton being at home, I think Brighton might edge it.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
That's what I think. I think Brighton have got too much for Palace, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, 100%. Well, we seem to agree on those two, which is interesting. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Like we say, looks like we only got one of the predictions wrong last week. So well, let's head to Monday Night Football. Oh no,
no,
that's no, because there's sorry, I don't. Yeah, we've gone now.
Right. Okay.
There we go. Sorry about that. I must have left that one off. That was last week's Monday Night.
Yeah, we've got the only one we've got Bournemouth have got Everton away.
On Tuesday. Yeah, I thought that was weird. One on Monday night and those two have already played already. No, Tuesday, isn't it? So no, my apologies there. I will get the fixtures right one week.
Doesn't matter, mate. Doesn't matter.
But more importantly, the big game today, Paul. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what, I think it's got it's the same sort of game as Liverpool, isn't it? They're both class acts when they're on form, Liverpool and Villa. We know that. Villa have got their, they're meant to watch. I put down Tammy Abraham. When I watched him play last week, boy, he looked sharp. He was unlucky not to score. I think he's one we're going to have to watch. And if he's teamed up with Morgan Rogers, obviously he used to play for Bournemouth and scored 1 goal. He didn't make it with us, did he? And it was a shocker of a goal from my memory. But those two are players to watch. Ollie Watkins is like David Brooks. He's 50-50 to start. Who knows? Those three together are a nasty combination up front for us to cope with. Let's hope that Ollie Watkins doesn't get on the field. They do have a couple of injuries. They've got Tielemans is out for another month at least. And great news for Bournemouth, John McGinn is out, because he is always a big influence. So they've lost 2 main midfielders there. Who knows what will happen there? I mentioned about David Brooks, and Donny said he's 50-50, but he may be on the bench. So whether he'll get on or not, I feel more confident with him in the Everton game on Tuesday, Brooksy. They might hold him over for that one. But just a little bit more stuff. We know the story of Jimenez. Makes his appearance on Saturday, and when he's finished that, there's a nice contract on the table for him. And what performances this guy's put in, Alex Jimenez. He's been brilliant, hasn't he, Matt? Absolutely brilliant for Bournemouth. A real tiger in midfield there, mate. And keep an eye on him tomorrow. As we know, we lost 4-0 last time at Villa Park we played. I don't think there's any chance of a repeat of that. My own opinion, I'll just start very quickly with the team. I don't think there's much change for me. It's picking itself again. Petrovic in goal, Smith, Hill, Senesi, Traffeur at the back. Cook and Alex Scott in midfield. Scotty's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Top form. With Jimenez joining them, that's a strong midfield there with Lewis Cook. Up front, this is where I'm going to be a bit controversial. If I was Andoni, after what I saw of Ryan for 15 minutes, man, he looked sharp, didn't he? Man, I'm so excited to be looking at this guy. You're going to be there, Matt, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very, very excited to see what all this guy can do. The impact he made, wasn't it, against Wolves? And creating the assist. There's so much more to this guy's game we haven't seen yet. Exciting.
I mean, that is a powerful forward line. If they're on form, those three with Krupi, Evan Nielsen, and Hyan, those three, that's a lethal combination, mate. I'm actually, you know what? I'm gonna step off the fence, mate, and I'm actually going to say I think it's going to be a narrow win to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are going to win. I think they're going to win 2-1, in my opinion. And to get your opinion, they have to look at your Dean Court social. So
yes,
that's my opinion. We can move on from that. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so that's Paul's prediction. Then he's looking at a 2-1 win to the Cherries, which would be fantastic. It'd be a good win against a very good side, obviously, who are still in that race for the title. Who
lost at home last week? They lost 1-0, didn't they?
They did. They certainly did to Brentford. Anybody watching that's going to the game today, I'm sure they've seen already. The club are advising everybody get to the stadium as early as possible. Obviously, the enabling works have started and beginning on its early stages for the.
I'm going to have to do a Thomas Frank, Maddie. I'm going to have to do a Thomas Frank.
Thomas Frank. Watching.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. But so let's just jump back into the comments very quickly. That's Paul's thoughts and views on the game. David's going with a City 1-0. Yeah, interesting. Could well be. Nick's going with the Villa win. Yeah, I can see why you're saying that, Nick. I can't.
They could well do.
I can't say that, it's prediction's a prediction at the end of the day, isn't it? It's what people think. I'm hoping you're wrong, Nick, but at the same time, I can see why you're saying it, because they are a very, very good side.
And this sort of game, Matt, can be decided on luck. It
Yeah,
can be
absolutely.
decided on, anything can happen one way or the other, and you don't want to keep using that cliche of narrow margins, but it's true. A VAR decision, a send-off, or a handball that really isn't, or 9 minutes injury time if Villa are losing. It's who knows? It can be anything. Yeah. Bournemouth win. There you go. Well done, Chris.
Yes,
Good
Chris, with a 2-1 as well. So, yeah, I think 2-1 would be, 2-1 would be, exciting scoreline, I think. That's it. The United Strand.
Ah,
so that's the guy. Dave. That's the guy who's Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Dave. I couldn't think, but the United Strand. Yeah, perfect. Thank you for that. Keep on believing and positive vibes. We're in a good position with our performances, and I see this continuing 3-1. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't say anything. I wouldn't say Bournemouth will perform badly or anything like that. I think we're going to play well. I always think against the better performing sides, we tend to play better anyway. But 3-1 win for Cherries from Malcolm, which is again, I hope it is that scoreline, because that'd be a great scoreline. And David's going 2-2 draw. A good game, yeah.
I'd take that. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting scoreline there, David. Thank you very much. Well, as everybody knows, we do a little feature each week on the sidelines. Paul normally does a bit of research into the topic, and we're keeping the Australian theme going at the minute, because this week we're going to be looking at the National Soccer League, a bit of the history of the National Soccer League. Now, this, Paul, is before what is now known as the A-League. Am I correct?
100%. This was the forerunner to the A-League. Yeah, and I believe this competition, without looking at my notes, I believe it started in 1977 and ran through to 2004, and then it was changed over. Here we go. Yeah, take it away, Matt. Read away. Go.
No. I was just bringing that up because I think obviously what you were saying was correct.
It was. Yeah.
So formed, like you say, in 1977, and it was established after the Australian soccer team qualified for the 1974 World Cup.
Yeah.
So it took quite a while from establishing it to actually starting. So I'm assuming there was a procedure, obviously, to get it up and running. But it was actually inspired by the Australian sides qualifying for that World Cup. Was that the first World Cup that the Australians had qualified for?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Johnny Warren and the lads. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And it ran for 28 seasons. Its replacement, the A-League, began in 2005, and this was always shown on free-to-air TV, which is something that is not heard about anymore. Is the A-League still free to watch for everybody out there?
I think they put some games on ABC, but I've got it on. You can get it on. I've got it on Stan.
Stan Sports.
I think it could be. It's either on 7 or 9. Nick would know. Unfortunately, I do struggle. I have to be honest. I struggle to watch it. It's on tonight. The game's being played tonight. You'll be able to watch it. Nick, my another Nick, my son-in-law, is watching a game, I believe, tonight. So yeah. One of the stars of the A-League is Ryan Fraser, Matt. We won't mention that, will we?
yeah. He's hit
one
the ground,
of your mates,
doesn't he? Yeah.
One of your mates. Yeah. You sent him over here to me. Yeah.
Well, should we take a look at a little bit of club history in the National Soccer League, which you complied together? So the Melbourne Knights, they seem to have won this title 4 times. Now, the Melbourne Knights, are they still in existence and are they still playing?
Yep, they're around. I'm not sure if they've changed their name. They may be. Yeah, so you're asking me stuff, and I try not to watch it. But I'm being honest with you. Yeah, it could be Melbourne City. I can't remember. Again, Nick will put me right, I'm sure. South Melbourne. There was 2 Melbourne teams, South Melbourne, and I'm sure the other one was Melbourne City.
Isn't there a Melbourne Victory as well? Right.
Well, they do have a tendency to change their names a lot. You see.
Ah, right.
For ethnic. How do you say that word? Ethnic reasons. They were made to change their names, I believe, in the 90s. A lot of these clubs. By the Australian Soccer Association. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And yeah, there's their captain there holding the trophy aloft. That looks like one heavy base on that trophy.
Well, I hope you don't drop it on his head, Matt, that's for sure.
Yeah. So Perth Glory. Now, there's another connection to AFC Bournemouth with Perth Glory, which we'll touch on a little bit at the end of this feature. But
they were a strong side in the mid-90s. They were.
Yes, they were only
they were
only founded though in the mid-90s as well. So for them to be founded in 1995, then to have 2 titles in 2003 and 2004 was pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, they were a good team. Yeah.
Yeah, look at those. Look at the 90s kits there that they're wearing. In the top picture there. Look at the size of the sponsorship on the shoulder there. Yeah. Some real retro stuff there. But yes, so Perth Glory, they've won the title in the NSL a couple of times. Now this is a club that really interested me when you sent me the info, Paul. What can you tell us a little bit on this club?
Obviously they're an Italian based team, and they're based in Sydney, and as it says on there, twice champions of the NSL. I don't think they've won it recently, but yeah, they were a strong team in their day. Again, it's ethnic football. You know, you get the Greek clubs and you get the Italian clubs in Sydney and Melbourne.
So was the club? Sorry, was the club formed by Italians that had moved to Australia? Then is that how the club would come?
Yeah, I'd be pretty sure. Yeah.
Wow, and I love what they've done with the boomerang there, with the country's flags colours on the boomerang, and yeah, I think it's so interesting. When you sent me all these information, and I was looking up stuff on the teams and that. You know, it's great what you learn. I never even heard of these sides before, so yeah, it was really good to read your research.
Yeah, I think they've dropped the word stallions. I think they just go under Marconi now, or they're spoken about in those terms as Marconi.
Right. Oh, okay. Right. Well, South.
Yeah. South Melbourne. Yeah.
So is that another separate club, or was that when the club's changed its name, or?
You know, you're getting me again on this, Matt, because I'm not 100% on this stuff out there. But South Melbourne, they're still around, that's for sure. As I say, there's 2 teams down in Melbourne, and there's a big rivalry in those matches. But yeah.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, 1959, they've been around a while, haven't they?
Well, yes, yeah, they have been around a while. They seem like one of the older clubs of, you know, that was seem to have been formed.
Yeah.
One
of the earlier founder members. Yeah.
Well, the actual league itself, from 1977 to 2005, then 13 different clubs were crowned champions through either a system of first place or playoffs to a grand final. So with that then, Paul, I'm assuming the top 4 would go into a playoff, and then the winners of those games would then play in a final. Is that how that
That's
would be
right.
described?
First place fourth, and second place third, and whoever wins goes into the grand final. Yeah.
Right. Okay. It's a strange one, isn't it? Because isn't it
Yeah.
Scotland where they have like playoffs for relegation? If I'm right in thinking.
Do they?
I
Yeah.
think so. Correct
Right.
me, anybody in the chat, if I'm wrong, but I swear Scotland used to have like some playoff for like a relegation playoff. I'm not 100% certain.
That would be nasty, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there is somewhere. I'm pretty certain that does a relegation. I find that a bit strange, isn't it? To win the league, you've got to the top of the league, and then you've got to go into the playoff to win it. But hey ho, it's interesting what you learn, isn't it? So during the history of the league, it was contested by 42 teams. 41 in Australia and 1 in New Zealand, who were originally called the Auckland Kings before changing their name to Auckland FC under Bill Foley. So that's a team who we touched on last week, wasn't it, Paul?
Yep.
Over the years, there have 42 teams, Australian teams. 41 Australian teams and 1 team in New Zealand. The A-League at the minute, isn't there? There's 2, isn't there, from New Zealand? A-League, isn't there? Which is Wellington Phoenix.
Correct. Yeah,
Right.
Those 2 teams are in New Zealand. Yeah, correct.
I am learning.
You are. You know more than I do now, Matt. You're going well. You're going well.
Well, let's have a look at some Premier League players then that have played in the National Soccer League over the years. So there's some interesting names here, Paul, isn't there? Just before we do that, Nick's in the comments. Channel 10.
There you go.
And Paramount. And South Melbourne are still around, actually competed in the Oceania Pro League. So what kind of, Nick, question for you, what kind of level is that in comparison to the English like pyramid? If there's any, is it like League 2 equivalent, or is it like, what kind of level is that? Just out of interest, if you know, mate, chuck it in the comments. Love this because I'm learning. I love this. So some Premier League players who played in the National Soccer League then. First one you picked out was Tim Cahill, Paul. Now I do remember Tim Cahill because I remember when he was at Millwall, actually, when he signed for Millwall, and I remember there was a feature in one of the national newspapers about, I think it was at the turn of the century, I think, when and they had a young person in each of the sporting, cricket, all sports, and he was actually picked out for football as ones to watch in the new millennium, and he was playing for Millwall at the time. Obviously seen him play a few times against the Cherries, and then Everton for a very long time. I think he made over 200 appearances for Everton. So
just very briefly, he's the guy, his celebration after he scored a goal, he used to go out and punch the corner flag a few times. Remember that? He'd go up
yeah.
He played 217 games for Millwall, scored 52 goals, and a big number of games for Everton, 226 appearances, and scored 56 goals. He played 108 times for Australia, scoring 50 goals. It's a bit of a career, isn't it?
Wow.
Excuse me.
He had a great career. He had a great international career as well. Did he play at a World Cup? I think he did, didn't he?
I'm pretty sure he would have. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And
thanks to Nick there, kind of League One level.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. Thanks for that, Nick. Tim Cahill, great name there that you pulled out. Another one that's quite interesting.
Yep.
The family are in. They're here. Great player. Great player. He was a great player. Yeah. What's he doing now? Is he managing, coaching? Is he a pundit? Don't really know what he does now. If anybody knows, do chuck it in the chat. Mark Bosnich. So Mark Bosnich, I think he started out at a youth team in Australia, then was scouted by United and went into the United youth, I think under Ferguson, and he let him go originally. He then went to Sydney United, and and start. I think he only played a handful of games for Sydney United before he signed for today's opponents, the Villa. So there's a bit of a connection there. And then obviously he went back to the Premier League, with Villa, and then was signed by United as Peter Schmeichel's replacement, if I remember correctly. Didn't work out too well there. So he then went to Chelsea, but I think he was hampered by injuries as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a commentator now on TV over here. He got 17 Australian caps, and in his day, he was a good keeper.
Yeah, I remember his spell at Villa very, very well.
He was a good keeper. Yeah,
he was, very well.
Yeah.
So Mark Bosnich. Another one here, Harry Kewell. Good friends with a former Cherry in the shape of Warren Feeney. I think they're actually working together again now in coaching.
Is he?
I think so. But yes, Leeds United, Liverpool, before going to Turkey to play for Galatasaray, and then he played for Melbourne City and the Victory.
Yeah, just very briefly, I'll fly through it. 181 appearances for Leeds, 45 goals. Liverpool, 93 appearances, 12 goals. And he played 58 times for Australia, scoring 17 goals for Australia. So he had a big career too. I mean, these are household names, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Very good player.
Yeah, great player, Harry Kewell.
In fact, my friend and colleague, Colin Luff said he's like a machine. So hopefully we might get to talk to Colin at some point. But he knows a lot about this guy. So interesting.
Just very quickly before we move on, Doug, hope you're well, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. 2014 World Cup, I remember him scoring a screamer versus Holland. So I'm assuming that's Tim Cahill. I'll have to look that one up. 2014 World Cup. Wow. Where was that? Where was that held? Can't remember where that was held now. But yeah, excellent. Yeah, cheers for that, Doug. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, and Nick has also said screamer against the Dutch. Yes, that must have been a hell of a goal then. And David, Tim Cahill, pundit for BBC and Sky Sport.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, okay. Brazil, of course it was Nick.
Do you know, I was going to say Brazil, and I thought I won't say it. Yeah, I was actually.
Wasn't a very memorable World Cup for us, if I remember rightly. It was Hodgson, wasn't it? And we went out of the group stages. So enough said about that.
Yeah.
And finally, Mark Viduka. What a striker this guy was.
I've got some details down here if you want it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, he started with Celtic with 37 appearances with 30 goals, which is a really good return. Then he went on to play with Leeds, left them and was transferred to Leeds, where from 2000 to 2004, 130 appearances, 59 goals. Again, that's a great record, isn't it? Playing for Leeds United, 130 with 59 goals. Then he went to Middlesbrough, where he played 72 times for Middlesbrough and scored 26 goals. And I'm keeping going. I remember him scoring 4 goals in one game.
Yeah.
He did, didn't he? And I wonder if that was against Aston Villa. Perhaps Doug might know that one. I'm not sure. Maybe my brain's foggy. He went on to play with Newcastle, and he made 38 appearances there with 7 goals. And he ended up with playing for Australia 43 times and scored 11 goals. And he was actually a captain of Australia. He was a really powerful centre forward, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think if I remember rightly, he played at Newcastle when Newcastle went down. I think.
Did he?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I think he suffered with a few injuries.
Yeah.
He did score 3 or 4 against Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool! There you go. I remember, and I think it was 4. I think it was 4, Malcolm, but from memory. But yeah, great, good striker.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's some players anyway that played in the NSL and then played in the Premier League or either way. Doug's just confirmed, yes, versus Liverpool. And there is a connection to a club that played in the NSL, and that is Perth Glory. Now, Perth Glory's current coach, he's currently they're currently managed by Adam Griffiths. Now, Adam Griffiths, not many people may remember. If you were watching Bournemouth around 2005, 2006 season, he actually made 7 appearances for Bournemouth, scoring once, centre back. He then went on to play for Brentford as well. I think we didn't manage to sign him permanently, and he went on to Brentford. But yes, so there's a Cherries connection. So the current manager of Perth Glory actually played 7 times for Bournemouth. So there's an interesting one. So that rounds up our feature this week. I keep doing that. My apologies.
That's all right, mate.
The screen. A goal machine was Mark. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great striker. Great striker. But let's move on to our music feature. And that this week, it's Black Sabbath, obviously, with the connection to the Villa. So Black Sabbath. So yeah, some facts here. Paul, you've got some facts as well about Sabbath, haven't you? So they were formed in '68, and they're known as the pioneers of heavy metal, even being credited to inventing that genre. Now, this is an interesting one, Paul, because Tony Iommi, do you know much about this one? That he actually had an accident at work?
He lost the tips of 2 fingers. No, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, he lost the tips of 2 fingers.
No, didn't have a clue, Matt.
Yeah, so basically, he was working in a steel factory, I think it was.
Wow.
And basically, a machine come down onto his fingertips.
Oof.
He was cutting maybe metal sheeting or something like that, and it took the tips of his fingers off. So actually, to overcome that, he actually melted down fairy liquid bottle tops into the shapes of fingertips, and then adjusted his strings so they become heavier, which gave him that unique guitar sound.
Wow.
So, that's an interesting one that he overcame that. But yeah, that was kind of partly the reason why Black Sabbath had the sound that they had.
Wow.
So there's an interesting little one for you. So they actually changed their name. When they first formed, they were known as Earth, which they then changed. They changed to Black Sabbath, and it was after a film that they'd seen, a 1963 film. That they had seen. So, yeah, interesting one, that. And their self-titled debut album, which is a very famous album cover, was recorded in a single day at a cost of only £600, which I'm sure back then, £600 was obviously a lot of money.
Wow.
So they've sold over 70 million albums worldwide, cementing their legacy as pioneers of heavy metal. Obviously influential to many bands, aren't they, Paul?
The forerunners of heavy metal. Yeah,
absolutely. Their 1970 album Paranoid is their bestseller. With over 9.9 million copies sold, which actually their bassist, Geezer Butler, I think, has actually said is probably the worst album cover ever. And it continues to sell now. And they actually had an increase of sales on that album of over 450% in 2025. Their debut album, Black Sabbath, has sold over 4.9 million copies.
Yeah.
And there's just a list of their albums. Now, obviously, they've got many different eras, Black Sabbath. They obviously have the Aussie era, which is, their greatest era. But I'm a fan of all their eras, to be honest. I love all the Black Sabbath albums. So, and the Aussie albums as well. But we'll pick out a couple of albums shortly, won't we, Paul? The we've got that we like, our favourite ones. So that would be interesting to see. But yeah, their last album in 2013, which was called 13, which did feature Ozzy. And obviously their first one come out in 1970. So yeah, plenty of albums there. So what is the connection then between them and football? So Geezer Butler, the legendary bassist and their primary lyricist, is a lifelong and fanatical supporter of Aston Villa FC. Born in the Aston district of Birmingham, just streets away from Villa Park. Also, if I'm right in thinking, I'm pretty certain I am, Paul, Ozzy was born in a similar street as well, wasn't he?
Yep, in the town of Aston, correct.
Yes. So Butler is often referred to the club as his religion. So he's got some signature gear as well, which is pictured there. As you can see, that's a lovely bass guitar with the colours and the crest on there, and even their slogan, prepared. So yeah, he had his gear is all surrounded with Villa colours, which is excellent. That must be great. And there's also another band that does something very similar as well, which we'll touch on in a few weeks' time. So during their Hall of Fame induction back in 2006, his only words at the microphone was "Up the Villa."
Really?
And child hero, yes. On the speech, obviously Tony spoke, and that and Ozzy, I think, and then Geezer comes up to the mic and just shouts "Up the Villa." So childhood hero, he cites Villa legend Peter McFarland, who scored both goals in the 1957 FA Cup final, as his all-time hero. Now, you got anything to add there, Paul?
Look, I've been lucky enough to see Black Sabbath twice with Ozzy Osbourne, and the first time they were both in Sydney. First time I saw them there was at Allphones Arena, and that was in 2013. And the second time I saw them was on the tour, which was titled The End, which in the end it wasn't, as we know. But that was also in Sydney at Coutts Bank Arena, which is at Olympic Park, where they held all the Olympics, the big stadiums there. That was in April 2016. And I've just got a very quick story. They have a massive, dedicated following, this band. Ozzy came out on stage and he welcomed everybody, threw his arms up into the air, and the whole place erupted. And then you didn't know what he was going to do. Then he walked off the stage and he came back with a giant bucket of water, and he just threw it all over the people in the front row down there, and they all just cheered and laughed their head off. And then he went off on one and started doing the songs. But Tony Iommi, I watched him there, and a great guitarist. Yeah, just a fun band. I think Ozzy, you could, if you just single Ozzy out, Matt, you can call him a showman. He's a modern day entertainer. He seems a great guy to me. I mean, we've all seen the reality TV show. I'm not sure how real that is, but he just seems a great guy. And I believe a lot of it is just a front. It's just a show that they put on, and people love him, and quite rightly. Great entertainer. He's a modern day Liberace, mate. He's right up there. Great entertainer. Came to a sad end, as we know, with the funeral. And that was down the main streets of Birmingham, and tens of thousands of people turned up for that. The funeral cortege left Villa Park, would you believe, of all people, with tens of thousands of people lining the streets. Again, just before that, 17 days before his death, he did his final show at Villa Park with the original lineup with Tony Iommi, etc. To think that he pushed himself to that. Yeah, the Back to the Beginning tour. He sat on a throne, didn't he? And he did it. And there's great documentaries about it all if you want to catch up with it. Really, really from the heart documentaries about this guy. Real entertainer, mate. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember watching this gig on the 5th of July last year. And that was a lifelong dream of Geezer Butler's as well, to actually perform with the original lineup of Black Sabbath at Villa Park. So as you can see, there's the stage pictured at Villa Park there. And obviously, like Paul just said, it was titled Back to the Beginning. This was the first time that the original lineup had played together in 20 years. And that was because Bill Ward, the drummer, he didn't actually play on their final tour back in the late, I think it was like 2018, wasn't it? Bill Ward actually didn't play on that tour. So this was the first time that all four had played together in over 20 years. And all the profits from that show, Back to the Beginning, was shared between Cure Parkinson's and Birmingham Children's Hospital, and Acorns and Acorns Children's Hospice as well. So all the money went to good charities. And their previous appearance a year prior, in June 2024, Geezer Butler actually made a surprise guest appearance at Villa Park to play Paranoid with the Foo Fighters. And if you've ever been to a Foo Fighters show, there is quite often that special guests do turn up, which excites the fans very, very much. And lastly, Ozzy and Geezer appeared in the high-profile launch video for Villa's 2024-25 home kit. So this was for Adidas, as you can see. Ozzy's pictured in the shirt there. And Geezer joked about playing left wing for the team as well. So, yeah, interesting one.
Yeah, real entertainer, Ozzy. Sadly missed by, thousands of people. Sadly missed. Yeah. Great entertainer, mate. A real character.
Absolutely. And a great band. And that, of course, leads us on to our pick of our favourite albums. Do you want to go first, Paul?
Yeah, I'll make it brief. One of my favourite albums is Black Sabbath Volume 4. And I can't quite get it in on there, Maddie, but that's also got changes. Sorry. I couldn't see. I couldn't see that. Black Sabbath Volume 4 has got one of my favourite songs on it, Changes.
Yeah, great song.
Which I love. I've also got Black Sabbath Greatest Hits, which has got, if you want to get a good anthology of Black Sabbath.
I've not actually seen that one.
Yeah, sorry about the shining. This is a vinyl cover.
I've never seen that album cover before. Wow.
You've not seen it?
No.
Maybe it's an Australian copy. It's got Changes, Paranoid, all the normal stuff, Iron Man on there, War Pigs. Great album. Love it. And the third one, this is a really collector's edition. I only got this, unbelievable, 2 days ago. It's a Dutch album, Black Sabbath, and it's just called Attention Black Sabbath. There was a series that they released in Holland. It was Attention Black Sabbath. I think the other bands in that series, there's half a dozen bands, possibly could be Pink Floyd is in there as well. But this is 1972, this album. Look at Ozzy on your right. Oh, he looks young, doesn't he?
Yeah.
There's you won't be able to see much. I'll put myself out.
Yeah, I can see it. The Wizard, Paranoid, Iron Man, Sleeping Village, Behind the Wall of Sleep, NIB. Yeah, some great tunes on there.
You see, the great thing about vinyl is different countries have different covers. There may well have been an Attention Black Sabbath released perhaps in America or in England, and it could be a completely different cover on it. But my good friend Brian got me that only about 3 days ago. So that's my three, Maddie. And I love the melancholy songs. I love Dreamer. I love Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Oh, Ozzy solo stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. He's a great side. He can sing. The guy can put it together.
Absolutely.
Really I love it. Love that stuff. Yeah, you'll go, Maddie.
Well, I've got three. Now, the first one I'm going to show, I'll make myself big for this one because I've got an original, original, a vinyl copy of their first album. Now, I won't tell the story, but my father-in-law had the privilege to meet Tony Iommi and actually do some work with him. And at the time, he mentioned that his son-in-law was a big Sabbath fan and a big music fan. And Tony kindly said to my father-in-law, Brent, tell your son-in-law to give you an album, and next time you come, I'll sign it for him. So there it is. It says "Best wishes, Tony Iommi." So that is signed on this vinyl. So yeah, love that one. Very special one. My collection. But yeah, other albums. One of my favourites is actually the last one that they recorded with Ozzy, which is "Never Say Die." My favourite track on there is the album track "Never Say Die." So that's a great one. But yeah, another one, because obviously Sabbath have many different incarnations, obviously Ozzy era and that. One of my other favourite albums is actually from the mid-'80s, which is an album called Seventh Star, which actually I think Tony Iommi wanted it to be a solo album, but I think the record company insisted that they called it Black Sabbath.
Really?
Yeah, so I can't remember who the vocalist is on here. It might be Glenn Hughes, actually, who the vocalist is on here. But yeah, he had to quickly put a band together because by that point, Bill Ward had left, Geezer had left. So yeah.
Hold that up, Matt. There's a lot of reflection on there. Can you just angle it so we can see? It's just the reflection on the CD case. You couldn't see the cover properly, but that's better.
And it actually says Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi.
Right.
So yeah, and eventually, they had so many vocalists, and they had Tony Martin, they had Glenn Hughes, obviously Ronnie James Dio, they had Powell on drums at one point. So yeah, a great band. Well, that's the connection anyway between Black Sabbath and football, is obviously today's opponents, Villa. But it's been another great show. Let's quickly jump into the comments before we round off. Chris, great show, Matt and Paul. Thank you, Chris. David DaCosta, Ozzy the Batman. Sally Boo.
Yeah, that's my son's partner, Olivia.
Right.
Hi, Olivia.
Hello, hope you're both well. Good stuff, Matt and Paul. Thank you for tuning in. David DaCosta, another great show, chaps. Keep up your great work. Thank you, David, for joining us as always. Bong Bong All Stars. Great to hear a mix of football and music. Some awesome insights. Yeah, thank you for joining us.
That could be Australia. Bong Bong, the main street in Barrel, where I live there, is called Bong Bong Road. Aboriginal name. It's an Australian comment. I'm not sure who the person is, but hi. Thank you very much for commenting. Yeah. Don't forget to press the like and subscribe button, guys. If you're first time viewers, it helps the channel, and we can continue. We've got some nice little bands up our sleeve, haven't we, Matt?
We certainly have, between now and the end of the season. So do stay tuned, and thank you for joining us. Great show, guys. Have a great weekend. You too, Malcolm. I'm sure we'll catch up at some point. So that wraps this week's show up. Next week, myself and Paul will be back, but we're going to be back with a FA Cup feel. Now, we know Bournemouth are out of the FA Cup. Obviously, we don't have a game next Saturday or Sunday or the weekend. We obviously play Everton on Tuesday night. So, yeah, we will be back with the usual show, but we'll probably have a bit of an FA Cup feel for our feature next week. So, just all that's left to say from me is thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. And I'll hand over to Paul for his goodbye.
I've got a 20-second thing to chuck in before I say goodbye, that Paul McCartney, born in Liverpool, he's a huge Everton supporter. There you go. Oh, it's Nigel. Oh, hi, Nigel. Hello, Nigel. Lovely. Good to see you, mate. Now I know who it is. Yeah.
Cheers, Nigel, for joining.
Radio star on 107.1 FM on the Sun Highlands. On a Saturday morning, he plays a lot of funky music, guys. So he plays Sly and the Family Stone this morning. He's a good guy, Nigel. Got it. Hi, Nigel. Thank you. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And bye. Yeah, goodbye from me as well, Maddie. And thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
TalkSport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search TalkSport Fan Network.
I should be like you, Mel.